Dmitry and Vlad gave, I think, a very clear and actionable presentation of AutoML solution we are developing. So let's talk a little bit maybe more about modern state of AutoML. Of course, nowadays we observe new wave of AI/ML, and this is due to multiple advancement in algorithm research, in hardware, in cloud technologies, in massive data sets, of course. We have more and more practical use cases being implemented, and as a result, we have more and more typical tasks for AI/ML. And those typical tasks and this rise of new cases definitely creates opportunity to automate some of this typical work related to AI/ML. And that's why we have now a new class of tools, AutoML. It looks like that majority of AutoML solutions nowadays are focusing on application of algorithms or models. And of course, those algorithms become more and more sophisticated, and that's very important. But as some thought leaders, including Andrew Ng, talking about, there is important angle of data and how data can fuel this algorithm, these models, and how preparation of data, being developed, how actually, a lot of operations on different diverse data is being progressed the same way as algorithms. It's important to think about AutoML solutions and address this data preparation angle, especially in case of majority of our clients, majority of our businesses we serve. When you are in social media or in big tech or digitally born companies, then it's a little bit different story, right? You have huge, massive scale. But for majority of our clients, data are distributed, they're diverse, they're in different tables, like we heard from Vlad and Dmitry presentation. So how and what do you think, and I ask Dmitry to start first, if that's okay, why AutoML you think relevant for this kind of very important problems?
Yeah, thank you, Eugene. So great question. Yeah, I do agree at first that the AutoML tools are mostly targeting at model selection. Also, now it is a huge direction of ML ops, which is also can be utilized by AutoML tools. But the most important part is for me is missing. So it's about the data. You not always can provide an algorithm which can work with your data, and obviously it can have the best results, but still the data part is tricky. So you have to clean the data, you have to see the outliers, you have to understand your features, understand your data, understand your data structures. And most of the time you need to connect not only different tables inside one data warehouse or storage, you have to connect different data tables from different data storages and different warehouses. So it's also the big challenge, not only the model selection part, but how to put the model into the pipeline, how to merge and aggregate the data, and how to prepare it, how to make it faster than original approaches, how to make it scalable. That's I think that it's the future direction, and that's something we need to think about. So I think maybe Vlad, you have some other thoughts here?
Yeah, I would like to add that in my view, the best brains in the world are working on the advancement of the algorithms, and they're actually doing good for common standardized tasks. But the question of standardizing the data is open. Like, no one in any enterprise creates the standard data structure. It evolves naturally. The business is changing, the business processes are changing, and each enterprise or a company, regardless of the size, have their own data structure, their own external sources, internal sources, transformations, and like how to take all this fuzzy stuff generated inside enterprise and put it to the best algorithms. This is the question actually. And one of the key advantages of our approach is that we are taking this fuzzy structure and creating a good input for the best algorithms. So in my view, this is the most important.
Thank you, gentlemen. So I agree with you that we need to spend more time thinking about this diverse data and how we can save time for ourselves, for ML developers, for data scientists, right? In order to avoid so much time we still spend on data preparation steps, on these typical steps we repeat from project to project. And this is so painful, and was painful 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 2 decades ago, right? So this is very important. So in addition to what we were talking up until now, what do you think are important AutoML development approaches? You greatly described how you leverage Kaggle, for example. Can you give us a little bit more details about these approaches for AutoML development? Vlad, could you please start first?
Yeah, sure. So actually, Kaggle is perfect because you can measure your results and compare it to the others. And this is like really competitive in good sense. And you have the tasks that are real, they are from real life, and you can make sure that your solutions, your approaches work for different industries, for different cases. In my view, this is the uh, great achievement of Kaggle. And also, you don't have this data is open, right? So it's really useful and convenient. So you don't need to worry about data. You just need to find the best approach.
Thank you, Vlad. Dmitry, do you want to add a little bit about that?
Yeah. I'd also like to emphasize one interesting other point. So, as a developer of AutoML tool, when I go to Kaggle, I see so many interesting thoughts and results of notebooks from the people who should and can help the community. So it's like inspiration for most of the developers and data scientists. If they have like similar problems, they can just see and utilize the domain expertise, which can most of the time be in the top solutions, for instance, in finance, in healthcare, and just to move it into their projects. So as for me, it's not each day that you can just like dive into some feature engineering inside like some business of healthcare and finance, but Kaggle gives you not only the data, but the opportunity to look into the approaches which really work. That's I think the best for AutoML development.
Yeah, thank you, Vlad. Thank you, Dmitry. So I'd like to add a couple words. I basically repeated to my students at New York University when I teach AI. The key for Kaggle is not its kind of original intended goal that people gonna compete under certain deadline, and the winner gonna take it all, right? What's great about Kaggle, and what Vlad and Dmitry already mentioned to us, is that you're able to go to the same data and compare results of brilliant people across the globe on your own time scale. You don't need to compete with them. You can go afterwards and you can basically look at how they develop things, how they approach this specific problem, and what you can do about it. Can you use something? Can you leverage something? Can you improve on it? So you basically have amazing, freely available, tool to improve your own capabilities, to grow yourselves, right? This is very cool. And I think Kaggle gonna have bright future, and we used it before in AutoML development in other applications. We're going to continue using it, and I'd like everybody who is interested in this kind of work to consider it for yourself. Let's move on to another question about what AutoML can bring to our clients. What kind of benefits we can tell are extremely important nowadays based on what is happening with AutoML. Dmitry, do you want to start on that one?
Yeah, sure. So most of the time when you will go to the website with AutoML tool, everyone on the websites will say something like AutoML is the best start, is the best for like baseline pipelines. But in our solution, we saw like different thing. We can not only take it as a baseline, we can take the model and the data which is already working in production and improve it even further, just with running our own pipeline, right? So I would say that now the benefits of AutoML, they like go on the next level from the baseline approaches to fully automated and really powerful approaches which can work in production and can be utilized out of the box in clouds and just opens the endpoint and you can just ping this endpoint. So I think this whole pipeline and its automation, it's important part for both data scientists and for citizen data scientists who like don't know really many data scientist stuff. So I think it's the main benefit that it accelerates the production of models and it accelerates getting the insights from models and moving it to something actionable and usable in your projects and solutions.
Thank you, Dmitry. Vlad, do you want to add on
Yeah,
this
for
one?
me, it's fascinating how AI and ML accelerates itself. I mean, AI and ML are targeted to improve, to automate processes, to automate decision making. And now with AutoML, like it's applied, AI is applied to AI, and it's really cool. Like you're doing the, let's say, routine boring tasks in data science and machine learning with data science and machine learning, and that is amazing. Like we are on the cutting edge and helping ourselves. And in real life it means that in companies we can do more trials, more experiments. We can use this multiple targets. We can combine multiple data sources, and each iteration of trial gets faster, and we can find the best use cases, the best approaches to facilitate the business processes, to facilitate the development of this automated decision making.
Yeah. Thank you, Dmitry. Thank you, Vlad. Yeah, I'd like to pick up on one of the points Vlad just made is that so ML helping ML is like double win, and saving time, like Dmitry was saying, not only to experienced people but also to citizen data scientists. That's amazing too, and that's great, and I think it's very empowering. It's very empowering. I would also add that AutoML would be able to free. This is again maybe the same point. I'd like to make it again. Free from routine tasks which are already happening, and we spend so much time on this, especially with data preparation. We spend so much time on data preparation and validation and finding biases and finding outliers and so on and so forth. It's a majority of time we spend on this. And AutoML has the potential to basically address this major bottleneck. So, okay, we talked about AutoML. We talked about approaches, how to develop AutoML. We talked about benefits. Short, but hopefully to the point and actionable. So what about limitations? Let's talk about limitations of existing AutoML solutions. Maybe we start with what are weak points, places where we can improve AutoML. Vlad, do you want to start?
Yeah, sure. So from our example, we can see that actually the best score was achieved by human. based on AutoML, and like it may be treated as a weak point because people are still needed, but that's a good news for us. So I'm not even sure if it's a weak point. Other weak point is about specificity of clouds or on-prem solutions. So we also try to avoid it. We try to make it as flexible as possible. Other point is about sometimes the solutions, they are black boxes, right? And this black box stuff is not suitable in certain industries like in finance or healthcare. So people need really understand why these features were generated and how the decisions are made based on these features. So that's something we are also trying to deal with, and we have some good progress in it. So in my view, those are the main weak points of AutoML, and we are really working hard to overcome them.
Thank you, Vlad. Dmitry, do you want to add on this one?
Yeah, I just want to add that, for my opinion, one of the weak points is one of the strongest points. So AutoML tools, on one side, they are fully automated and end-to-end, but the other thing that you cannot improve AutoML itself. So we should have like some parts of the pipeline be improved, and that's what we are actually targeting in our solution, making it better for feature engineering step, which can be like decoupled from the model selection step, but on itself, it's really like fast, and it can improve any model by itself with regards to any architecture, right? So I would say that it is both strengths and limitation, and end-to-end pipelines are not for everyone, but still it is good place to start from now, I would say.